What's up, everyone? Welcome back to After the Storm. So, we're just cracking this beer right now. Because, I need that after losing to the Buffalo Sabres. So, let's take a swig. Alright. Steam Whistle, if you want to sponsor me. Gladly have it. Alright, so, Season 4 of Kane's Game Review kicking off here. Just coming off the final preseason game. I just left this up. This is the last game I did last season, game 70, I think. I'm not even sure if I put the video out for it, but they lost 4-2, so this was fitting. Where do I start from here? So, I mean, I should start maybe by, let's talk about hockey in general. It's been a rough year. I'll be honest, my interest in the sport has taken a massive hit. And my love for it as well, which sucks. I do love hockey quite a bit. It's hard to see things like the Kyle Beach situation and the ongoing and getting worse by the day Hockey Canada scandal. Scandal seems like the wrong word. I don't know what the right word is. That's the problem. As somebody in Canada, lives in Canada, played hockey growing up, it's pretty disgusting that the money my parents paid for me to play in like a little house league game, league, would be used for anything such as covering up sexual assault cases. I'm not going to go any really further into this other than I wanted to explain why it's been very tough to even want to talk about hockey, or it hasn't been like, I don't want to say it's been difficult to follow it, but like the off season, like it was so easy to just step away from this sport at the professional level and I guess even at the level of juniors and the organizational level as well. So I'm trying to reinvigorate my love. I feel like I was able to accomplish some of that tonight by watching the game. I am not ready for this season, unequivocally. So what we'll do first in this video is just kind of go over what happened in the offseason. So in my opinion, the Canes got a lot better. They did a lot... I don't know if we would say a lot, but they certainly did some subtracting and adding. The two most notable additions, Pacioretty coming in for free on Real Trade. I mean, literally landing a 35-goal scorer, probably if he didn't get injured this season for free, is unbelievable. I mean, great stuff by Don Waddell on that. The other addition is Brent Burns, and I feel like for the first time, probably since Dougie Hamilton, even though I had some skepticism about Dougie toward the end, I feel like this is the first time that Jacob Slavin has a true partner on defense, and I think Burns is kind of the perfect one for that. I thought Slavin had to do almost too much last year. D'Angelo was excellent until he was very much not. A great passer, but in his own end was struggling to say the least. And I don't think Brent Burns is the best defenseman in his own end, but he's certainly an upgrade over Tony D'Angelo. And the Flyers making that trade in their current state and extending Tony to the amount of money they did is not good. And he's Philly's problem now. Some other additions, Andre Kasha comes over from the Leafs. I think this is a great depth piece. Obviously remains to be seen where he's going to end up in this lineup. I think most people kind of thought he maybe was the Nino Niederreiter replacement, but I don't think maybe that's what's going on with that at the moment. But it's kind of tough to see where these lines are, and especially where they're going to be midway through the season, for instance. I do really like the addition of Andre Kasha, though, to try and maybe pull some of the stars off of the penalty killing duties all the time. I really like it. Aho, of course, is not my concern on the penalty kill, but having him out there just a little bit less is probably beneficial in the long run. I know this is one of the best penalty killing teams in the league, and that's a big reason why. But having these types of role players is just fantastic. One that has kind of flown under the radar that I really liked, and I think somehow, some way is like my most excited signing or addition of this offseason. That's not a big name, is Paul Stastny. I think I've talked extensively on this channel and in these reviews that, like, man, just sometimes you need an extra guy who has been able to do it and done it consistently and is going to bring that other element to the room, and I think Paul Stastny does that. Kind of the perfect bottom six depth option. I wonder if he's going to slot in next to Jordan Staal or not right now as kind of the Nino Niederreiter replacement. Not exactly sure where that's going to end up for Paul, but I think he would probably safely be in the bottom six, and I think he's going to be a great fit here. Thinking on anything else, Ethan Bear continues to remain around. I'm not sure if there's going to be a trade in the works for Ethan. It seems like he's kind of been on the outs with the organization, did re-sign over the course of the offseason, but it almost to an extent feels like his time is limited, but also at the same time, boy, doesn't he, he was probably the player that stood out the most in this preseason game tonight, and him and DeHaan as a third pairing, I'm really like the idea, which brings me to Calvin DeHaan, a player that has been kind of underrated for the past few years since leaving Carolina on his second stint now, and I think he's going to be a good addition as well. Great depth. Obviously, that was Jake Gardiner insurance, and I think unless anybody's heard otherwise, man, I don't know why. I was seeing this a lot on Twitter. I love Jake Gardiner. I really liked the signing at the time. He is just toast. Like, his back is messed. It was messed in Toronto. It was messed when he got to Carolina. It is what it is. But it would have been very nice to have Jake back. But I don't think there was any chance he was passing that physical. So I'm not sure if he goes to LTIR or season opening IR for the Canes, but that is added cap relief, and I'm sure that's very much needed. Some other sort of fringe players that we haven't heard yet are going to get signed from their PTOs. I'm not sure exactly if Dzingel has been signed yet. I might have to check this as I record this video. I'm not sure if he was signed or if Derek Stepan has been signed to the Canes roster. I'm wondering if they're both on PTOs at this stage. So it looks like Stepan is the remaining PTO. He was a great depth option who I think came in and played pretty well last year for this team. If he's getting a contract, it maybe isn't in Carolina, but he's a great depth option. So I hope he is given kind of like a league min deal. Dzingel being signed, I cannot see. He did a lot of, especially in this game, he did a lot of the little things well. But that foot speed is something that really made him excel as a kind of a top 9 skater, a top 9 winger in this league, while he was with the Sens and then with Columbus. And honestly, it just doesn't seem to be there anymore. He's kind of fallen straight off a cliff since those days. Even since the last time he played for Carolina, he feels like he's a step slower. He's a player I really, really like. I just can't see him making this roster. I think he'll be a great addition to Chicago and a potential great call-up later on in the season. He fits that role player sort of underdog role extremely well. He played unbelievable for the Sens in 2017. That cup run, Eastern Conference final runs. He was very, very good. He was a clutch bottom 6 guy for that team. Energy everywhere. Not sure if he can still produce that, but we'll see. So we've covered Burns. I'm going to talk about Pacioretty. This is a guy that he's kind of twofold. One, this is obviously an excellent trade, as I mentioned before. The other aspect of it is this year, I think, is going to be the first year where I don't complain about the Canes not going out and getting something at the deadline. Not only are they going to be cap-strapped anyways, they're going to get Pacioretty back. That's the deadline acquisition. Max Pacioretty is our trade deadline acquisition this year. God forbid a goaltender injury or something like that comes up. But yeah, he is the he is the trade deadline acquisition for this team. It's already done. The team doesn't really have to make any changes. And I'm sure I'm missing a player or two. There was a few standouts here. Saw a lot of Stromwall. Not exactly sure this is going to be an NHL player this year. Just from what I saw from tonight at least, he looks like a somewhat inefficient skater. That term is going to be kind of frowned upon, but like he might be an inefficient skater who works hard. So it looks like he's doing a lot out there, but it's not enough. So I think this is a guy who is primed for a breakout season if whether or not he returns to Sweden to play or if he goes to Chicago. And I think that pretty much covers it. Looking at some players that we have to highlight, I think that we really need to see some breakout seasons from. First off has got to be Jesperi Kotkaniemi. He needs to make that jump to a 2C and be a formidable one in the league. We really need somebody to... It's kind of weird how Jordan Staal is still the 2C of this team, despite kind of being the second line center. There is big shoes to fill where Vincent Trocheck was, and I'm very happy that the Canes did not give him that contract for those amount of years. But at the same time, that's a huge gap that's got to be filled now. And Kotkaniemi really needs to figure out a way to fill that. I think he'll get there. I'm just not sure he's going to be the 2C at the end when all's said and done. I think maybe somebody will leapfrog him into that spot, and he kind of slots down to where Jordan Staal is now, that 3C on a defensive line. I think we might be looking at like kind of the Jordan Staal replacement as opposed to the Vincent Trocheck replacement. Nevertheless, he is one of the players that must be watched and must kind of have a breakout season here. The other one is Martin Necas. Man, he has been unreal in this preseason. He has been very, very good, and hopefully that translates because this is a player that gets extremely hot and extremely cold. Struggled quite a bit at the end of last season, so obviously he's looking to reverse those fortunes. But it's an exciting time of year. The season's about to start this week with the games over in Prague between the Sharks and the Preds. It's an exciting time to be a hockey fan. I'm doing my best to get excited. Maybe I need to watch some... Maybe I just need to watch some... maybe I need to watch those games in Prague or something. The problem is, let me tell you guys, I just discovered something this year. I've watched football most of my life. I've been a Patriots fan all my life, so I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably just groaned immediately. If you're not a Patriots fan, I guess. I could get away with just watching the playoffs before, and I never really sat down and watched NFL Red Zone. And NFL Red Zone's like the hidden gem of like sports. It really is. Like, it's like 4 hours of just being glued to the TV at least every Sunday. It's beautiful. Sunday is like the best day of the week now. I'm worried about going back to work. No. Sunday is just amazing. The best day of the week. The best day. Anyways, off on a tangent here. NFL Red Zone's great. Season's starting. I'm going to turn this so I don't get... There we go. That's better. Just turn that. Cheers to the season kicking off this week. Let's get back into the swing of things. Be on the lookout for CGR Season 4 Game 1 against Columbus coming up very soon. Ignore all the stuff around me here. We are not at Game 70. It's just kind of ironic that Carolina lost 4-2 tonight. And the last video I recorded, they lost 4-2. Anyways, as always, guys, thank you for watching. Click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you like the channel and want to see more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at peroxylush or follow the official After the Storm Twitter account at AfterTheStormYT. And as always, catch you guys on the next one.